Good afternoon. Oh, there, wake up. Hello. That was me messing up the mic. Sorry about that. Thank you for coming back for this wonderful workshop that we're excited to participate in with Reverend Valarie Parsons. So before she comes up here and leads us through this wonderful exercise, I would just like to, again, thank you all for coming back. Thank you for your patience as we made a few more copies because so many of you decided to come back for this. So we are thrilled with your participation. So as we do in unity in all things, let's begin with a moment of prayer. Let's take a breath just to center ourselves in this moment, prepare ourselves for this time together. Mother, Father, God, we thank you for this opportunity to live and love and learn and grow together, to receive your divine wisdom from within and from without as we discover the truth of who we are and learn from the truth that Reverend Valarie brings to us. We know, acknowledge, and affirm that your divine wisdom is with us in all things, providing us the power and strength to grow and be all that we are meant to be in this world. We give thanks for this understanding. We sit with joy and hope and peace and faith in this unfolding time for us, as we know the best of who we are to be is yet to come. And we see that and affirm it in ourselves and in others. And so it is. Amen. And now I'd like to reinvite Reverend Valarie Parsons up here to lead us in this incredible workshop. Reverend Valarie.
Thank you. Well, welcome back for round two. I'm so glad you decided to hang out with me a little bit more. Sounds like you're curious about who you are and how you interact with others, and so we'll get started. Is there anyone that didn't get a chance to complete the assessment? You still need some time? Still need some time? Okay. We'll have some time during the workshop to do that. I just wanted to give them out ahead of time in case some of you wanted to get started. The way the assessment goes, just in case you want to work on it, is you answer each question 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to remember, I don't have the assessment in front of me. 1 means this is the most likely how I feel or how I interact. 2, 3, 4. Did you interpret all of that? 1, woo! 2, 3, 4, Those are the sound effects that go with the assessment. And once you're done, you add up each column. Front and it's 2 pages, maybe front and back, if we're conserving paper. Add up each column going down. All the A's, get a total. All the B's, get a total. All the C's, get a total. All the D's, and get a total. That's about as far as I want you to go right now. So, my name is Reverend Valarie Parsons, and I'm happy to be with you today. I learned about this author of the book called Power of Understanding People. His name is Dave Mitchell. And he came to Rosen Hotels and Resorts to teach managers about interactive styles and leadership and many other things. And so I learned this directly from the author of the book. He calls himself an intertrainer because he's a hoot, extremely intelligent and funny as all get out. So learning from him was very easy to do, and I hope that I can share that same presence with you today. So his name is Paul Mitchell. If you want to purchase the book, it's available on Amazon.com. It's called The Power of Understanding People. It has much more than we're able to get into today because of time. So if you want to know more, you have to invite me back for part 2. See how I did that? You see how I did that? Okay. All right. As long as you saw that. Let's take a look at our agenda. Today we're going to talk about our intention. I think it's important always, no matter what we're doing, to set an intention for our time together so you'll know what is it that we're trying to do. So we'll talk about our intention. Then we're going to talk about 3 words, kind of brush over those scientific terms that help us understand the interactive styles. We'll talk about metacognition. You've heard the word meta before. Metacognition. Schemas and delusions. Schemas and delusions. Then we'll talk about the interactive styles. There are 4 of them that we'll talk about today, and we'll take a look at those, call them tools to live by. And then the assessment, we'll take some time for that if you haven't done it, and then we'll sum up what's really going on. And then we'll talk about putting those styles into practice, and we'll talk about conflict resolution. All right? Because we do want peace like a river. And it's hard to do sometimes with some people. Do you agree? It's the truth. Doesn't matter how spiritual we are. Interactive styles can be challenging. So that's what we're going to look at today. First, we have our intention. Our intention for today is to better understand the mysteries of human behavior through the concept of metacognition and interactive styles. To better understand the mysteries of human behavior. They can be mysterious. Do you agree? Whew. We're going to learn about them through metacognition and interactive styles. Let's talk about metacognition. Did each one of you get a participant guide, a handout that has this? Good. I want you to have these definitions in front of you. Metacognition means thinking about thinking. You ever think about thinking? Yeah, Stringer in his book, The Untethered Soul, talks a lot about taking the seat of the soul, standing back and observing what we're thinking, feeling, and moving through. So metacognition is thinking about thinking. It is self-awareness, an understanding of how our life experiences have shaped our cognitive schemes, which in turn determine how we derive meaning from our reality. So metacognition is, okay, I have a thought, and then stepping back to say, well, why did I have that thought? And where did it come from in terms of my experiences and how I framed the world? Metacognition. And then we'll talk about schemas. Schemas are the mental structures that provide us with ways to organize and derive meaning from our experiences, ways that we apply our knowledge and assumptions, the core of our perceptions. An example of a schema is Democrats and Republicans. It is Northerners and Southerners. You notice when I say these words, you get a particular, oh yeah, Northerners, blah, 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 blah. And each one of you may get something a little different. Some of you may get the same thing. And I say Southerners, and you go, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. We kind of line them up in our minds based on what we call. I say Democrats, you go, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. I say Republicans, it's schemas. It's how we frame things in our minds and block them off, compartmentalize our thoughts about particular things. You with me so far? And then delusions. Delusions are the stories we make up and the behavioral responses that we have based on our schemas. So I say to you, I'm a Southern girl from rural North Carolina. Right away, you made up a story about a rural girl from North Carolina. Oh, well, that means they didn't have street lights, probably. She doesn't know a lot about big city. She's going to talk with a drawl. I do. I try not to, but it catches me. My Southern drawl. So things like that. Those are delusions. But if I say to you, I'm from rural North Carolina, and I start speaking with an English accent, you go, what? Because your delusion tells you that I ought to speak and move and be a particular way. Did you know that all of us are delusional? It's true. Say it with me, I'm delusional. No. Don's delusion says he's not delusional. It's okay, Don, we'll give it some time. You got an hour. Love you, guy. So I want to introduce you to a friend of mine named Kibbles. So notice the different reactions when Kibble came on the screen. Some people will say, oh my God, big dog. I don't want to hug him, I don't want to pet him, I don't want him anywhere near me. That's an ugly, big, nasty dog. It'll bite me if I get close to it. And then some of you said, "Aw, Kibbles, sweet, sweet baby." That's what I say about my puppy. Sweet, sweet baby. Aw. Delusions. Delusions are based on three things. Well, there are three realities. In fact, there are three realities. One reality is the absolute objective reality. When it comes to Kibble, the absolute objective reality is Kibbles is a dog. Kibble's a dog. And then there's my reality, which says, oh, sweet, sweet baby. And then there's the other person's reality that says, that thing will kill you if you get close. Most of us don't just stick with the absolute reality. Most of us interpret what we see by what we've experienced. So you may see that Kibbles is a sweet, sweet baby because you've never been harmed by dogs, you grew up with dogs, you love dogs, all that. And then you may say Kibbles is a monster because somewhere along the way a dog chased you, maybe bit you, or bit somebody you knew, or you had some kind of incident around a dog. But the absolute truth is, Kibbles is a dog. Kibbles is a dog. So we're all delusional because we frame the world from what we have experienced. So we're going to talk about interactive styles. Interactive styles. Because based on what we've experienced, we've determined how we're going to move through the world. We've determined how we're going to interact, how we're going to be. There are 4 tools that the author Dave Mitchell talks about. And he's using the work of many philosophers that come together to culminate these interactive styles. Philosophers like Hippocrates, Plato, Aristotle, and most prominently in his work, Carl Jung, who studied the patterns that could be observed despite any unique behaviors. He studied those styles. Carl Jung's work is most associated with the Myers-Briggs assessment. How many of you have taken the Myers-Briggs? Yeah. INFTJs and all of those elemental Ps. It's one of the most widely used personality assessments in the world, Myers-Briggs. So this work, these 4 tools, are based on the work from Carl Jung with Myers-Briggs. 4 interactive styles are like 4 tools in a toolbox. Now, if I was really in my lesbian role today, I would have my tool belt on with my tools hanging out. I forgot to grab my tools before I left the house. I got them, just so you know, I got them. So we'll talk about the hammer. The hammer is one interactive style. When you live from the hammer perspective, every interaction you do is as a hammer. So let's imagine that the hammer is my primary tool. So we had 4. The hammer, the screwdriver, what was the other one? The wrench and the pliers. Hammer, screwdriver, wrench, and the pliers. I'm going to say my primary interactive style is hammer. So I go through life seeing everything as a hammer. If I see something, I'm going to hammer it. I'm going to hammer you. I'm going to hammer it. I'm going to hammer everything. So I meet Phil. Go up to Phil. I'm a hammer. I go, my hammer. I say, hey, Phil, how you doing? And Phil hammers back. Doing great, Val, how you doing? And we hammer. We hammer. And guess what? Phil and I, we hit it off. You know why? Because we're both hammers. You ever met anybody and you hit it off right away? Chances are you're using the same interactive style. Chances are you're using the same interactive style. So I meet him. Doesn't matter what we talk about, how we move through the world. The guy gets me, I get him. We hammer at each other. Life is good. I say, that Phil's a great guy. Man, because he hammers and I hammer and we hammer together. You with me? And then I go across and I see Dawn. Guess what I do? I take out my hammer, because I'm a hammer girl. It's hammer time. I can't do the dance. So I go over to Dawn, and I start hammering on Dawn. Hey, Dawn, how you doing? Dawn goes, ow. What the heck is going on? I go, Dawn, you in there? How you doing? He goes, ow. I go, what? It's a hammer. You're a hammer? He goes, no, I'm not a hammer. Shoot. I live life by hammer. I see life through a hammer lens. Everything I do is hammer. This guy's not a hammer. He's kind of getting on my nerves, but I like him. So I'm going to try it. You ever meet people like that? It's like, yeah, he's kind of quirky, but I like him, so I'm going to try again. So I reach in my toolbox, and I take out a screwdriver. And I go, Don, you okay? Don goes, yeah, I'm great. He's a screwdriver. All right. So I go, Don, how you feeling today? Where you been? And Don and I ultimately hit it off because I reached in my toolbox and I grabbed another tool. You with me so far? So I was like, great, that was cool. A little challenging, but we got through it. Then I go over and I meet Pat. Good friend, Pat. I go, hey, Pat. Hammer. Because hammer is what I do. Hey, Pat, how you doing? Pat goes, what? Pat, are you in there? How you doing? How you been? What you been up to? Oh, crap, what's wrong with Pat? Maybe she's a screwdriver. So I reach in my toolbox, and I start screwing on Pat. Because Pat's a screwdriver. I go, Pat, how you doing? Because I know the hammer and the screwdriver. It's okay, I got this. Hey, Pat, how you doing? Pat's not a hammer, and she's not a screwdriver. So what do? Wrench, the pliers? Nothing. I decided Pat's a nut job. She's not. Quite intuitive, as a matter of fact. And my friend, Pat, you can handle this, right? We're good? Are we okay? I need to know. It's your birthday? Happy birthday. Everybody say happy birthday to Pat. Pat's no nut job. I just think she is. I think she is because she doesn't match my primary style or my secondary style. So I can't figure out what the heck is going on with Pat. Can I say heck? And so I walk away. I decide Pat, being around her is too stressful, causes me too much angst. Every time I go around her, I get this bad feeling, and I declare that she's not worth my time. Only because, again, I'm delusional. She doesn't fit my primary nor my secondary interactive style. And I'd have to do a lot of work on me before I can figure out plier or wrench and interact with Pat. Are you following me so far? So we usually don't, it takes us extreme effort to go to our tertiary tool And oh my God, the fourth one. We really have to work. And that's the work we're talking about today, to see if we can go beyond our primary and our secondary interactive style. So, we're doing good. So, in order to know your interactive style, we're going to take the assessment tool. The assessment tool. So, how many of you all have the assessment? Hopefully those online have the assessment. And we'll give you, I guess, about 10 minutes or so to complete the assessment. Do you have pens and pencils and all of that? While we're waiting, are there any questions, either online or in the room, for me at this point? Yes, sir.
First question went off for me is, why only 4 tools?
Okay, that's a great question.
So many to choose from.
Yeah, so what happened was, when you complete the assessment, you'll find that you have a low number and then the second number. There's a second number, so you want to look at the lowest number and then the next lowest number. When you combine those two, you end up with a total of 12, honestly, interactive styles. We can only cover the 4 basic ones today. But when you combine your primary and your secondary one, there's a whole nother layer that, if you invite me back, I'll be happy to share with you. Great question. Anybody else? Yes, online?
No questions online quite yet, but there is a little bit of a delay, about a 10-second delay.
Oh.
And if we wouldn't mind, because we really can't pass around a microphone due to COVID and everything, if you could speak the question, and then Val, if you could just repeat the question for the folks at home. Thanks.
Yes, okay. The question from my friend was, why are there only 4 interactive styles? And what I shared with him was, when you combine your primary style, which will be the lowest number on either column A, B, C, or D once you add them up, take that one and then take the second lowest number, and you combine those, you actually come up with a total of 12 interactive styles. But because of our time today, we can't go into those 12, we'll stick to the 4. And I said, if you invite me back, we can go over the 12. It's loads of fun. Loads of fun. It's about you, not really. Answer the assessment honestly, Unity people. Don't overanalyze like I often do. Don't shit on yourself. And if you get stuck, go with your first reaction. Get stuck, go with your gut. Get stuck, go with your gut. For each answer, for each question each day. When you're done with the 12 questions, add up the numbers for column A, put that total underneath A. Then add up the columns B all the way down. That number. Same for C and same for D. How are they doing online? Everybody understanding it? They got it? Good? If you need more time, raise your hand. Okay. If you need more time, raise your hand. All right. I appreciate your participation. Presence and your energy. Unity's principle says, we create our world by the way that we think. We create our world by the way that we think. And this assessment and this power of understanding people helps us to create a better world for ourselves and our interactions with others. If we could choose to see them differently, to pause for a moment, take a step back, and say, oh, not a nut job, not a wacko, the presence of God. Spirit of the divine, show me how to interact with this beautiful bright light that stands in front of me. Help me in all my ways to acknowledge you and and lean not to my own understanding. This power of understanding people. Does anybody else need more time? Online, ready to go? Ready to go. All right. So, we're ahead of the game. I love it. There are 4 interactive styles. Now, remember I told you we're all delusional. Don? Still not? He's getting close. Hey, you got about 45 minutes. But we're all seeing life from our own lens. And so when we take a look at the 4 different styles, just know that this is the way you're seeing life through your lens. This is the way you're seeing life through your lens. So the 4 styles are romantics, warriors, experts, and what's my 4th one? Masterminds. So if column B, as in boy, is your lowest number, you are considered a romantic. Column B, as in boy, is your lowest number. You're considered a romantic. How many romantics do we have in the room? Unity is full of romantics. I am not surprised. This is going to be fun. How many romantics do we have online? Quite a few. The guys are, yeah, okay. If your lowest number was in column D, as in Dave, then you are a warrior. Column D, as in Dave, you're a warrior. How many warriors do we have? Excellent. If your lowest number was in column A, then you're an expert. That sounds good, doesn't it? How many column A lowest numbers do we have? Yeah, I knew that about you. I already knew. I really did. He's an expert. If your lowest number was in column C, I think I know one of these too, then you're a mastermind. How many column C's do we have? Both of you? Oh, my heaven. Oh, okay. Thank you. I knew that about Britt. I didn't know that about my twin, though. Mark, and who else? Anybody on this side? The masterminds sit on that side of the room. I wonder what that's about. All right. Okay, let's take a look at romantics. Roll back to romantics for me. Thank you. So you have some description in your handout about romantics. As I speak something that pertains to you, just kind of make a little note of it on your paper, because in a minute we're going to talk about what yours is and how many of these things match up to who you are. Romantics trust their feelings. You go gut reaction people, about situations and people. Sometimes they value others' needs above their own. So unity. They react strongly to emotion. They have a need to feel committed to another person, idea, or cause. They consider the impact of their own actions on others' feelings. Romantics value harmony among people with whom they interact. They show appreciation of others easily and respond to praise. They recognize the importance of tact and diplomacy. You like my dress? Well, you know, that color looks great on you. As opposed to, don't wear that one again. They have a strong desire to make a contribution. They are personable and talkative. They may invest time in conversation unrelated to the purpose. We're talking about world peace, and you just brought up your niece. I'm not really sure how that connects. I don't know. Romantics are loyal. They display an easy smile and laugh. They rarely criticize and express anger tactfully. They are honor bar negotiators who use their likability to get the best deal. So in this book, he's talking a lot about employees and sales and that. So, but I want you to reframe it as we go through it, not necessarily about selling and customer service, which is great in the business world, but think about it in terms of your, okay? They rarely act without a purpose. They seem to always have a plan. Warriors, when they move with a purpose. They move like they have somewhere to go. Romantics just kind of like, hello, how you doing? Warriors are like this. See the difference? No nonsense. Got somewhere to be, I got somewhere to go. Not playing around. Romantics are like, hey, slow down. For what? All right. They get to the point quickly. Warriors are people who ask the question, what's the bottom line? Warriors do not like meetings. They hate meetings, especially ones that last an hour. Oh, because they'd rather be somewhere doing what needs to be done rather than talking about it. And you're just wasting their time in some meeting. Sound familiar to the Warriors? Yeah, I thought it would. Oh, my goodness. They are direct communicators. They may appear more irritated than they are, especially to romantics. Oh, God, okay, I already know. But are you mad? No, I'm not mad. Well, tell your face. Warriors. They talk fast. They want answers immediately. They may expect things to be handled on their own terms. Do it my way. Oh, okay. They negotiate assertively. They show up knowing what they want, and they come to the table with the answer already in hand. I had a boss one time, manager, and she, I believe, is a warrior in hindsight, not at Rosen, another job I had. And she would call us all in a room for a meeting. She'd give us handouts. She'd tell us what the next project was going to be. And then she'd ask for input. Blah, 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 blah. So people would talk and talk. I think this, I think that. Oh, God, great. Well, I don't know how we're going to do this, blah, 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 blah. She would take her papers. She would stack them on the table. She would say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And I thought, well, why did she call us in here for a meeting? She already knew the answer. And after the third time of doing that, I thought, have no opinion, Val. Just listen for the outcome. That's kind of how it goes with warriors until we learn how to negotiate with them. They come across as very intelligent. They're not overly friendly. They're more intense. The leadership style of a warrior is a results leader. We have got to get it done by all means necessary. And their negotiating style is a closer. Get it done. Boom. All right? For the warrior, the style is based on sensitivity to logic. Their primary desire is for world domination. I'm going to rule the world. They know there will be casualties, and they believe we should kill the stupid people first. My goodness. They process a time invested, value received scale inside their heads. What does that mean? They're only going to spend as much time with you as it's going to give them the value that they need to get the job done. If it appears that spending time with you is going to deter them from what they want to get done, it's a waste of time. They're not going to do it. Warriors don't play around with their time. There's going to be some value associated with the time they spend. All right? They like efficiency, results, and to be done. Conference calls, unnecessary meetings, and small talk can annoy them a great deal. The warrior's intrinsic need is independence. Leave me alone. Let me get it done. Okay. So here's a little illustration, because oftentimes romantics and warriors tend to collide and build relationships. Isn't that interesting? They're like total opposites on interactive scales, you might say, but they build relationships in the quirkiest way. So here's a little illustration. Joe is a romantic, and Joe works in the mailroom. He works in the mailroom, and he takes care of getting the mail to everyone. He handles faxes, and he handles the office stuff, and he gets stuff done in the mailroom. Joe's a romantic. So when people come to him to get their mail, he likes to chat it up, see how they're doing, see how he can help, exchange a little information to hope to get some information. You know, romantic. And then there's Bob. Bob's a warrior. Bob works in the office building. Bob needs a fax sent. No, Bob is waiting to receive a fax. So Bob, the warrior, goes down to the mailroom, says to Joe, the romantic, "Hey, did you get my fax?" Joe says, "Hey, how are you? How are things in the social department? I hear you guys are doing great things up there." Bob says, "My fax. Did you get my fax?" "Oh, that darn fax machine, it won't stop running. It's just so many faxes, so many. I've had like 10 in the last 5 minutes. And you know what? Half of them are unnecessary. I don't even know why people keep sending faxes. Why don't they just pick up the phone and call people?" Bob says, "I'm waiting on a fax from Acme Incorporated. Did you get the fax?" "Oh, well, let me check." Now, Joe's all offended. He goes over. He's all nervous now. And he's thinking, what is wrong with Bob? Why doesn't Bob like me? Why is he always so grumpy? I just wanted to say hello and ask him how things were doing. Is that really bad? He fumbles through the faxes. Doesn't see one for Bob. He says, "Hi, Bob, I looked, and no, your fax isn't here yet. I'm really sorry. I'm sure it's on the way. I'm sure they probably sent it. Sometimes things get stuck, you know what I mean? So I tell you what, whenever it's ready, I'll just bring it up to your office." Because he's kind like that. He's building a relationship. Bob says, "Fine," and he leaves. Bob the warrior goes back to his office. He's looking at his watch, checking his time, seeing how much time he wasted with that Joe guy trying to get a fax. Fax comes through. Joe takes it up to Joe's office, takes it up to Bob's office. Knock, knock, knock. Bob says, "Ah." He goes, "Knock, knock, knock." He goes, "Ah." Like, "Put it in the bin." Joe says, "Hello. How's it going?" It feels a little angry. Are you angry? It feels so angry in here. Maybe you just need to turn the lights on. Maybe you just need something that smells good in here, because that maybe that's bothering your attitude. What's wrong? Bob says, "Put the fax in the box." Joe's all upset now. Joe goes to his supervisor and says, "I just was with Bob, and he seemed so grumpy. I didn't do anything. He hurt my feelings." All I was trying to do, and I brought the facts up to him, and he didn't even say thank you. And that's how it goes between romantics and warriors. Warriors are on to the next thing. They're not going to say thank you necessarily. They're just going to accept what they need and move on to the next thing. Romantics are hurt a lot. Very sensitive. Very sensitive. If you're a romantic, and you'd like to share that with us, how many of the romantic things line up for you? All of them? Well, how about that? If you're a warrior, how many of the warrior things line up for you? Can you identify? You're good? You got it? Warrior? Warrior? Oh. All right. Still ahead of the game. Let's go on to our next style. Hey, experts. How many experts? I know 2 of them. 3, 4. Oh, wow. Experts. Okay. Experts trust what is certain and concrete. They value realism and common sense. Oh my God, don't go around an expert if you don't have common sense. Jesus. They like to apply and hone established skills. They tend to be specific and literal. They give detailed instructions. They present information in a step-by-step manner. First, and then, and number 3, and 3A, 3B, and 3C. Then 4. Then 5. 5A, B, C, D, and E. Do not forget E before you go to 6. Experts. They present information in a step-by-step manner. They are focused on the present, here and now. They have great respect for the rules. They value consistency and reliability. Don't go flitting all around with an expert. Flitting. I haven't used that word in so many years. My grandmother's here still. They respond best to a salesperson or a customer service provider who is knowledgeable. Show up at that door, you better know what you're talking about, because they will blow your stuff out of the water every time and not buy what you're selling. Often have great depth of knowledge about the process. If lacking depth of knowledge, they may want to obtain it from you. So they are good knowledge exchangers. They learn well. They'll pick your brain to get good information. Very specific with their questions and requests. They're disappointed if things don't go exactly as they were told. They may appear stubborn on small issues. Complete assignments on time and are detailed. They like appointments for callbacks and upcoming interactions. The leadership style of an expert is a thought leader. And the negotiating style is subject matter expert. SME, subject matter expert. Their style is based on sensitivity to facts, as defined by situations and processes. They sustain their focus on a task until accurately completed. Experts aren't stubborn, they're right. And all the experts said, Amen. Delusional yet? No. They thrive in structured environments that have clear instructions and well-defined policies and procedures. They are consistent, reliable, and dependable. They may not be tactful. Experts' intrinsic need is security, and security lives within the experience, the details, the known facts. When those things are in place, experts can move around like you wouldn't believe. For the experts in the room, how many of these things speak directly to you? Is there anything that's like, yeah, no, that's not really me? What about online? Oh, wait. Hank has a, go ahead, Hank. You don't do detailed instructions? Okay. Overviews. Because you already know what to do? Yeah. Because you're right. Okay. Now I get it. Yes.
Joanna and I don't argue. She explains how she's right.
I'm right, and here's how I know I'm right. Anybody else? Anybody online? Go ahead, my friend.
Can you have like two styles
Yeah?
within you?
Yeah?
Because my second lowest is expert,
Yeah?
and some of the characteristics match my personality.
Yeah?
So I'm romantic, but then
Yeah.
I'm a romantic expert.
Yes. Yes. So am I. The romantic expert, when you combine those, keep talking. Oh,
No, if you could just
say what he
repeat the
said.
question for the folks online.
Thank you. So my friend said his secondary style, I was like, Shannon, keep talking? Okay. His secondary style is expert. His primary style is romantic. So he's a romantic expert. And I said, yes. That's when we talk about, my friend was asking if there are only 4, but there are actually 12. So the romantic expert is actually called the best friend. The best friend. So you probably work in the role of best friend quite well.
I actually got the exact same score for
Romantic expert. So you're a good, solid, loyal friendships, relationships matter to you, and you help people in that way from what you know, and that. So yeah, good. All right, masterminds. I got a couple of masterminds. One of them left. Who else? I got Britt. Okay, Mark. It's amazing. All right, masterminds trust inspiration and inference. They value imagination and innovation. They like to learn new skills, and they become bored with things already mastered. Often use metaphors to explain their ideas. You know, it's kind of like they present information in large chunks or in a roundabout manner. So an expert is going to give you the detail, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A mastermind is going to say, well, you know, it's 6 steps. That's all you get. Figure them out. Be innovative. Find some tool on your own. Mastermind. They tend to be impractical dreamers. Yeah, we can build a shopping mall right over there. I know the ground is soft. We can shore that up with something, I'm sure. I don't know what. Let's build a mall. And on the way to building the mall, they also want to go to school and take 10 classes on how to build a mall. And while they're taking 10 classes on how to build a mall, they also want to figure out how to make money once the mall is done. And they want to do all that themselves until tomorrow, when they'd rather do something different. Yeah. I know I talked about a mall yesterday. That's not what I'm feeling today. Today I'm feeling like we really need to, put a playground there. Yeah, a playground. In fact, I'm not taking those 10 classes. I'm going to take another 5 classes about playgrounds today until the next day. I'll do something different. Masterminds. They tend to be impractical dreamers. They can appear to be disorganized and absent-minded. They seek change, take risks, and are comfortable in chaos. They respond to a salesperson or servicer who is flexible and innovative. So if a salesperson comes up and says, here's a vacuum cleaner, it goes this way and goes this way and goes this way, and you do these things, and this is how it works. Mastermind is going to say, yeah, but is there a tool to clean the back of my curtains? No, we don't. No, I think we can. I think if we take this off of here and turn this and just hold the vacuum cleaner upside down and go around the back, I think we could do it. because a mastermind is going to find an innovative way to do things. They may go off on tangents during conversations. They will challenge you to provide options or exceptions. To an expert, this is a problem. Often very charming and enthusiastic, oh, Mark, may forget some of the content of previous discussions. So an expert will say, we just talked about this yesterday. Oh, well, I know we talked about blue, and I know we talked about yellow, but I don't remember the green. Blue and yellow makes green. I know, but I don't remember that part. Masterminds. They often use language like, what if? And would it be possible? Because they are out-of-the-box thinkers. They are less specific and more general in their questions and expectations. So, Reverend Val, if you get the job, what are you going to do? What am I going to do? In terms of what? I don't know. Like, what are you going to do? Oh, show up? More general, less specific. Their leadership style is visionary leader. Masterminds see way out there. And their negotiating style is innovative solutions. Innovative solutions. Style is based on sensitivity to the possibilities in their environment. They are fearless in the face of risk, and they take an entrepreneurial approach. Tend to think systematically. Masterminds learn by trial and error and are comfortable with, even relish, chaos. Masterminds' intrinsic need is excitement. Woohoo! So, imagine Joe, the expert, and now Bob, the mastermind. No, Bob doesn't sound like a good name for a mastermind, does it? Seth. Joe the expert, that sounds about right, and Seth the mastermind. So, Seth goes to Joe. Seth the mastermind goes to Joe, the expert, and says, Joe, how do I get to, what's the name of the restaurant? Van Berry's. Is it still Van Berry's? How do I get to Van Berry's? Joe, the expert, says, well, where are you parked? Right out there in the parking lot. Okay, which way are you facing? Did you back in or did you just pull in? Mastermind says, I pulled in. Okay, great. When you back out, you got to turn right. Go to the end of the street. There's going to be a house on the left-hand side. Did you know Mr. Joe's wife used to live in that house? They lived there for about 15 years till the daughter passed away. Then they moved. I'm not sure where they moved. I think they moved to Virginia. But then the son got, a little concerned about the cold because he's used to living in Florida 15 years. Seth says, okay, what do I do when I see the houses? The mastermind. Oh, yeah. You're going to turn left inside where the house is. Turn left, and you go down past this park, Cypress Grove Park. As a matter of fact, it's been there for, I don't know how many, you know how many years Cypress Grove Park has been? I don't know, maybe 75 years or so. You're going to pass. It's beautiful, by the way. They have weddings and stuff there. Had a wedding there for my daughter, in fact, just a few years ago. What do I do when I see the park? Oh, I'm sorry. Just keep straight, and go across some railroad tracks. There's a church there on the left. Discovery, I think is what it's called. I knew the pastor there one time. I remember when they built it. Didn't quite like the way they did that, but I remember when they built it. What do I do when I pass? Oh, you just keep going. You'll pass Floyd's 99 Barbershop, I believe it's called. I get my hair cut there every Saturday. Do you see how this goes? The expert wants to tell you the details you don't even need. If people say to you, why does it take you so long to tell a story? Kai, my friends say that to me all the time. Oh my God, will you just get to the end? Never mind, I'll finish the story for you. Because the expert in me wants to tell them everything. The mastermind doesn't care about any of the details. Joe, the expert, is still giving directions. Seth, the mastermind, found an app on his phone. Yeah, thanks, Joe. And he leaves. He goes past the place he's supposed to go because he forgot what he went for anyway. And he saw all the pretty stuff. He goes down to Soto. He finds out there's a Gators Dockside. He has some wings. He goes somewhere else. He goes shopping, goes in Target, gets something else. Comes back 3 hours later. Hey, Seth, did you find the so-and-so? Seth says, the what? You know, I was giving you the directions. I gave you the directions to get there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I completely forgot about that. But I did have a great lunch. And I went shopping at Target, got all my Christmas shopping done. That's the mastermind. Low on the details, easily loses focus, uses innovation to find what he needs. Someone online.
Yeah, we have a question from Gwen. Gwen asks, can someone have a little bit of all of the categories?
Yeah, that's a lot of delusion. Yeah, you can. And actually, that's a good thing because then you'll be able to interact with other styles very easily. If you have like a level across, then you can use more interactive styles to get things done. People have an extremely low number, and then all the other numbers are relatively high. That speaks to their ability. They are like hammer all the time, and they don't find the other tools necessarily easily to reach for. So. Okay, how we doing? So how many of you are those of you who are masterminds, how does that play out for you? Did you find anything, not quite me, just sort of me, I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much you. Yes, Britt.
I'm totally comfortable in chaos, and she is also a mastermind, and she is not. So that's interesting.
Okay, so,
Like other things take over.
So, is it okay if I say your name, share your name? Yeah. So Britt is here, and she said as a mastermind, she is totally comfortable in chaos, which is part of the listing of the mastermind. And Keisha, her wife, is mastermind as well, but is not comfortable in chaos at all. So that's an interesting thing. What's your secondary is what? Warrior. So that's that need to get to the point, get things done, be efficient, which is probably what negates your desire to be in chaos. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's all good. I don't know what we're talking about, but it's all good. Say again, that's Britt. I don't know what we're saying. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I'll catch you. Go ahead. All right. So as I mentioned before, there are 12 combinations of the interactive styles, and we won't be able to get into all of those now because of time. But I do want to talk about putting things into practice, putting them into practice. Let's go to the next slide. So you have in your agenda a place where you can list 3 people. Now that you've heard the 4 interactive styles, I want you to list 3 people who present challenging interactions in communication for you. That's the first step. So go ahead and put down 3 names. Susie. Oh my God, Lloyd. Jesus. And goodness, if I can't get Ezekiel squared away, I'm just going to strangle him. 3 people. You got him? Now, based on our discussion, think about and evaluate what you believe is their primary interactive style. And then write that down. Are they romantic? Feeling, they step into the room and they go, oh my God, there's a lot of anger in here. Why is everybody always picking on me? Daddy Brown, bump it up, a clown, bump it up. Is it warrior? Boy, they don't waste time. They just get to the point. I can't deal with that. Is it an expert? I wish they would shut up. There's too much information at one time. Why can't they veer a little bit from what they think they know? Why do they always have to be right? Or is it a mastermind? Can't get this person to focus for anything in the world. They show up at meetings with their laptop and 4 toys in front of them. Fidgets, says the mastermind. They're what? Distractions, says the expert. I'm just saying. It helps me think. Well, it helps me not to think. All right. You got 3 people. You got 3 interactive styles for each one. Now, we're going to go through each style differently. And then I want you to write down at least one thing that can now assist you in interacting with the person as we go through putting it into practice. As you learn these things, now we're talking about how to interact with the other person. You know what yours is, very helpful. Now that you know what theirs is, these are some tools that will help you interact with them. And I want you to write down at least one thing that will help you interact with that person moving forward. Okay? So this slide says, you cannot do a self-assessment on everyone. When I took the training at Rosen Hotels and Resorts, I said, I need like 25 copies of this assessment. And a few people, I want them to take it. So, yeah, life doesn't work that way. So you can't do a self-assessment on everyone. But you've learned enough today so far to correctly identify and adjust. Now, notice it says, once you identify what the person's interactive style, you adjust. Because the other person doesn't know the secrets that you just learned. Ha! It's twice in one day. So now you will know how to adjust so that you can interact with the other person. It will require some effort. Remember, we go about 2 deep in the toolbox. Our primary and our secondary. By the time we get to the 3rd tool, we're just like, pfft. When you get to the 3rd tool, don't give up. Give it some effort. The primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary, I made that up. Styles. I don't know if it's a word or not. I don't know if Word corrected me. I said add it to the dictionary. So now it's a word. Add it to the dictionary. Just it gets easier over time. So the more you practice this, the easier it will get. Let's go to the next slide. Putting it into practice when you're dealing with a romantic. So if you are not a romantic, then this is what you need to know in order to deal with romantics. Their intrinsic need is appreciation. You have someone who's a romantic, go up to them and say, I so appreciate you. Oh my God. You get anything almost. Do no harm to the emotional environment. So if you walk into a romantics environment and it's all chill and it's zen, they got the waterfall going, some cool music playing, don't walk in with, hey! You just disturb their environment. It'd be difficult for you to move forward with them from that point. They want world peace, and they want to be liked. Okay? Focus on the person, not the transaction or the situation. Focus on the person. They are relatively wordy, but their words don't always convey their feelings. Romantics, you can say, "Hey, Val, how are you doing?" I'll say, "Fine. How are you?" Because I want to say what is the right thing to say, but I'm feeling something totally different. So if I say fine, don't just blow over that. Recognize how I really feel and go with that. And I don't think you're fine, Val, but watch for the nonverbals. Romantics give a lot of nonverbals. There are certain people who walk in the room and I'll go, "What's wrong? What is that? What did you just encounter?" Because I'm a feeler. I'll say, "Nothing." "Oh, yeah, well, hold on. There's something." Maybe you don't want to talk about it right now. That's okay. But there's something. So now, for those of you who are not romantics, write down something that will help you deal with romantics moving forward. Make sense? So you're a romantic person. Let's have the next slide, Dave. Oh, beat to it. You're the man. Warriors. So if you are not a warrior, but you have someone that is difficult to interact with them, they are warriors. Here's the things to notice. The warrior's intrinsic need is independence. Do not hover over a warrior. Please, whatever you do, don't hover, don't micromanage, don't dote. It craps them. Craps their style. Independence. They're more interested in getting results than being likable. All right? They display a penetrating gaze and a furrowed brow. They got purpose. They walk with a purpose, and they despise incompetence. Oh, they do not like stupidity because they're delusional. They are direct, intense. They offer short answers. They're impatient and decisive. They may display evidence of status. So you might know a warrior by the purse they carry, the car they drive, kind of watch they wear, the shoes they put on. They care about how they look. Warriors, because they worked hard and they want you to know it. So if you're a romantic encountering a warrior, know the question you want to ask before you show up. Get right to it. Put your feelings on the shelf for a little while. Whatever the warrior says is really what they feel. Okay? Very direct. Very direct. Is this helpful? Yes? Okay. Experts. If you are not an expert, but you're having challenges dealing with an expert, understand that their intrinsic need is security. They are very matter of fact. They ask a lot of questions. So romantics and experts really kind of do all right if a romantic can just stay the course, because romantics love to talk. But you got to talk about the facts. Just the facts, man, just facts. Okay? They convey a lot of historical detail. House has been on the corner for 15 years, and the church, I was there when they built it. They're often technical people. They are data collectors. Isn't that interesting? Don, hey, data collectors. They will always validate the accuracy of details. Yeah, I don't know. And accountants are the best experts. They will stay there until it balances to the penny. They are compliant with the process, policies, and procedures. So if you're going up to talk to an expert, know the details, know the data, be able to support what you're saying as fact, tried and true. All right? Make sure you're following the policies and procedures. And masterminds. if you're not a mastermind, but you're dealing with Britt, and no, I'm teasing. Britt loves me. Of a truth. Know that the mastermind's intrinsic need is excitement. They're easily distracted by flashy aesthetics. What is the phrase? I can't even think of the phrase. Was shiny, yeah. A mastermind.
Shiny squirrel.
Huh?
A shiny squirrel.
Yes. Oh, squirrel. Squirrel. They're easily, it said that, distracted. They're enthusiastic and easily sidetracked. They have a high risk tolerance. They will parasail, dive over a mountain. They'll, jump into ice cold water. They like stuff like that. Makes them feel alive. They need to touch it, play with it, experience it, demo it. So they're hands-on. Let me see. Let me take this apart. And then they'll come back and tell you things that you didn't know the thing would do. Oh, I didn't know it would do that. Oh, and then it'll also do that. They are creative, they bore easily, and they go off on tangents. So if you want to approach a mastermind, patience. Patience warrior, oh my God. Patience expert. Romantics deal pretty well with masterminds because it's a feeling thing, and masterminds are just kind of feeling all the feels. So write down something, if you're dealing with a mastermind, something that will help you interact with them moving forward. Next slide. So conflict resolution. Again, I want you to know conflict is unavoidable. We are all delusional, right, Don? He's still saying, we're all delusional. We're operating from our schemas and expressing based on our interactive styles. Romantics are irritated with warriors because they're interpreting their communication style as angry. Warriors are commonly in conflict with experts because of experts' needs to share details and explain. Experts are often irritated with masterminds, bouncing brain, and tendency toward tangents. And the mastermind is the only one who is not irritated by one of the others because they aren't paying attention. Oh no, it was great. I don't have a clue, but it's great. So let's take a look at this slide. Just know that when you're dealing with other people and other interactive styles, there must be a genuine desire between both parties to understand the other's perspective. So it's important, you already know now what your style is, gauge what the other person's style is, and be willing, have a genuine desire to understand the other person's perspective. The conflict is about an issue, not a person. Wow, if we can remember that in all that we do, we'd be like, score. It's about the issue, not a person. Don't wait too long to engage in conflict resolution, but be mindful of your emotional state before beginning. Find a space. Relax and center. Be prayerful. Then go. Then go. Okay? You can't resolve conflict outside of yourself until you resolve the conflict within yourself. Tissue. All right. No matter how tempting, keep your conflict between the two of you. Oh my. Don't go blabbing it out to everyone else.
We had a question online. How do you resolve conflict between two personalities of the same style?
So I got two masterminds. Oh, sorry. Okay. Two experts. Oh, God, that's even more challenging. Who have a conflict with each other. I think they both need to understand their own interactive styles. Probably they both need to step back because chances are they're making the issue about the other person and not the issue itself. So I would suggest if you're having a conflict with someone who has your own interactive style, because You're an expert at that, whatever your style is. You know how to communicate with someone who is of your interactive style. So if that's not going well, I suggest you both take a step back. And again, there has to be a genuine desire for both parties, even if you have the same interactive style, to resolve the conflict. Quite possible for two romantics to never resolve a conflict because one of them just doesn't want to. So first, know that there is a desire for both parties to resolve it. Then if it doesn't go well, take a step back. So let's talk about this in 30 minutes or tomorrow morning, or let's pray together about this, just to bring our unity principles into play here. And then when we see the person as a Christ self and not the problem, any issue can be resolved. Yes?
It also seems that certain styles apply in different situations. Because I can think of, if like in regular life I'm a masterminder, then I fall to my secondary when like stress happens
Yeah.
or conflict or something like
Yeah.
that. So,
That's good. Britt was saying certain styles come into play in different situations. Like as a mastermind in let's say a church setting, that may be a wonderful thing when it comes to innovation and doing something new, trying on something new, and Britt's in the meeting and she's sharing, oh, let's look at it this way, let's look at it that way. But when it comes to conflict, perhaps, or interaction at work, it may require a different style that may be her secondary style that comes to the fore to resolve the issue. Good? Thank you. All right. No matter how tempting, keep your conflict between the two of you. Keep in mind that the other party may have no idea that a conflict exists. What are you talking about? Engage in active listening, maintain eye contact, nod encouragingly, and do not respond immediately to anything you hear that you believe is inaccurate. It's hard for an expert to do. Once both parties have expressed their perspective, identify the critical issues that have created the conflict. Discuss what future behaviors will be needed by both parties to resolve this conflict. Keep your promises to each other. When you find yourself in a particularly sticky conflict during which one or both parties have dug in their heels on an issue, you can try, here's one for the person online, forced empathy. Forced empathy. Do you know what that looks like? You pause, and you can repeat back what the person says. Well, you really pissed me off. Mirror it. I hear that I really pissed you off. Yeah, and you really shouldn't have said what you said. So you're saying I really should not have said what I said. Yes, and that made me mad. I can see where that has really made you mad. I can imagine it made you feel ineffective. I apologize. I didn't mean for you to feel that way. Forced empathy. And you may have a whole nother idea going on in your head, like this person is crazy as the day is long. But you want to resolve the conflict. So how do you resolve the conflict? How do you diffuse? It's called forced empathy. And because you know these things now, the expectation is that you will do them and not the other person, because they don't know what you just went through in the last 90 minutes. All right? I do want to remind you about the author, Dave Mitchell, great intertrainer, and an excellent book. So if you so choose, please do purchase the book, and I think you'll find it quite enlightening. And now, if there is time, we'll have a question and answer period. If you have any questions for me.
You got me on? Oh, good, especially for the people at home. So just as a little housekeeping rules, just to follow up. So if you're here and can do the feedback form for Val's workshop, please use your cell phone or your computer when you get home. and do it electronically. That's our preferred. If not, and you need a paper one, make sure that you fill it out and leave it in one of the baskets in the lobby before you leave so that you have it today. And for all of you online, please go online and click on the afternoon workshop link that you can see up there right now. That's the link. You press on that button and you'll be able to quickly fill out the feedback form and make sure that gets done. And you have today to do it. So get it done before you go to bed tonight, before midnight. Go ahead and fill those out. And if you're going to go home today and fill them out after being here in person, make sure you get it done today, okay? And now we do have a couple minutes left if anyone wants to just ask, not an interviewing question, but just I want to know something about Val, like, do you have pets? What do you do on your day off? Where was your favorite vacation? Something like that, to get to know her just a little bit better. Feel free. Just yell out or say your questions, and then we're going to repeat them for the people online so that they can hear your questions because, again, with COVID, we can't pass the mic. Yes.
Now, what are your primary and secondary styles?
So he wants to know what are Val's first and secondary traits.
My primary is romantic. My secondary is expert. Yes. I can't finish this story. My friends do. But I'm a great friend. Very loyal and loving, and I'm a feeler. So you notice today when I said, turn the lights up, I want to feel your energy. Notice that? Those are all clues of a romantic and concern for the energy that's in the room. And when I go up, I want you to go up with me. So primary romantic, secondary expert. Thanks, Phil.
Reverend Val, we did have a question come through online, and your thoughts on priesthood of the people, meaning each person has their own ministry, and what your thoughts on that aspect?
That phrase it used to be called the priesthood of all believers. And so I love the shift of priesthood of all people. Charles Fillmore says that the Bible is the story of the unfolding of each person's soul. So when we look at the Bible, we talk about particularly the Hebrew scripture or Old Testament, we find that the priests were the primary communicators to God. So the people went to the priest, and the priest went to God. And they went into what's called the holies of holies and came out with answers, give back to the people. But it was all captured in the presence of the priest. As we move forward into the New Testament, then we find that the Christ presence and our knowledge, and in fact, unity's principle, number one is God is one power and one presence, everywhere present and omnipotent. Number two says, and that presence lives in each one of us, which totally breaks the barrier of the Old Testament or Hebrew scripture priest idea. And it says the power that lived in the priest also lives in each one of us. And there's no difference, in fact, in the power of that presence. Now, the gifts and the talents that we share, what we do in the world, may be different. They're all gifts, lots of gifts that the Bible talks about and that we have experienced that may not even be written in Scripture. But each one of us have the same power and presence now, as opposed to it being in one segment, one person, one type, the Levites, the priests, the prophets. We are all that, and a bag of chips. So that's the priesthood of all people, each one of us, every one of us, and it is a unity principle. Mm-hmm.
What brought her to unity?
What brought me to unity? Curiosity. I was downtown Orlando, and it was Pride Parade. And people were handing out pamphlets, this and that, tickets to this, whatever. And someone, I don't even know who it was, placed this thing in my hand. Now it may have been designed by Rick Kilby, I don't know, now that I know more about CCU. And it was about Christchurch Unity Orlando, Common Fellowship. And of course it had beautiful picture of what appeared to be a lesbian couple and gay couple. And I said, what? Where is this? Years later, I was visiting a friend in the hospital, and a commercial came on TV. Do you guys remember having a commercial about CCU? I thought it was about CCU. And I was like, that's that place that handed out this stuff. It was a church, and it was cool. And so I got to get there sometimes. But so what drew me here was the open and affirming presence that CCU has. And when I got here, the realization that there's not a huge emphasis, and I want you to hear my heart, on whether I'm gay, lesbian, straight, or whatever else. It doesn't matter. That's the beauty of CCU. It's not focused on my sexuality, because I'd already had that. Beautiful. So I was already affirmed in that. And now CCU says, doesn't matter. Get your soul right. I said, well, okay. I'm in. So I hope that answers. As an expert, it takes me a while to answer questions. All the way around Joe's barn twice. Did I answer though? Okay, good. Oh,
Phil.
yes, Bill.
Was there any one specific thing that somebody said or did or an experience that you had that convinced you that you wanted to get into ministerial school?
Oh, so many. So,
Was there anything specific that made her decide to go into ministerial school?
I knew there was a calling on my life for many years. I've been involved in the Pentecostal Holiness Church as a youngster growing up, and have experienced other kinds of mainstream ministries as well. They all still live in my bones. And then I came to CCU, and there was an integrated breath work. I was on the board at the time, vice president of the board, and we were invited to go to integrated breath work. It's an amazing process. And so I brought my little blanket and my pillow and my comfy clothes, and I laid down, and you breathe, and there's music, and it's every time you do it, it's different. But in that process, I was laying on the floor, and I started to shake all over. And it reminded me of quite honestly, my Pentecostal days. And I said, oh my God, this can't happen in Unity. What is going on? Get it together, girl, get it together. And I couldn't. And my mouth started to move, quite honestly, without my control. I referred to that as a youngster as speaking in tongue. There's another phrase for it called glossolalia. And my mouth started going. I was like, oh God, I can't be doing this in Unity. These people don't understand. I had all that going on in my mind, but my spirit was far ahead of that. When I could speak, what Spirit said to me was, speak, as a matter of fact. Speak, speak, speak is all I could say in English. And then I said to Spirit, speak what? Like, what do you want me to say? And Spirit said, whatever I give you to say. Speak, speak what? Whatever I give you to say. And then there was a time after we all kind of got up and gathered ourselves together, we could go over to a table. There were crayons, there was paper, and I didn't know a whole lot about chakras. I'd read about them, and I started drawing these circles. Yellow, blue, it was blue, yellow, green, whatever. I didn't know why I was doing it. I put little pictures and stuff. And so we sat around in a circle after we finished all of our little artwork, and we shared our artwork. And I picked it up, I said, I don't know what this is. And everybody went, oh! I was like, what? They said, do you know what chakras are? I was like, yeah, I've heard of them. And the colors that I used that overlapped were in alignment with the colors of the chakras in the body. And at the very top was blue, which is the power that lives here, the energy circle that lives here, the throat chakra, which is speak. And so that was my confirmation. And then Reverend Alice, she's probably watching, came around the corner after a board meeting one night. This was before the interactive breath work. And she put her finger in my chest. And she said, "Stop playing it small." I said, "What? We just had a board meeting. What are you talking about, lady?" Stop playing it small, because I was going to go be a licensed UD teacher. She said, "Be the minister that God called you to be. Stop playing it small." A few weeks after that was integrated breath work. And so, off to ministerial school I go. I mean, how many times do you need to hear it? Go ahead, Britt.
If a song played every time you walked into a room, and that was your theme song for your life, what would it be?
If a
Okay.
song played
Go ahead.
every time I walked into a room, and that was a theme song for my life, what would it mean? What would the theme song be? Oh, God, thank you. I was like, what would it be? Ooh. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. That would be it.
Thank you.
Yes, my friend.
You brought up a couple of things, the Pentecostal background. Can you tell us more about that influence, how that influenced you, and the things you sort of still draw from that experience? And also, how familiar are you with Eastern religions, philosophies, or what are your thoughts on Eastern religions and philosophy?
You're going to have to help me with that.
Okay. So he wants to know, how do you think your previous religious upbringing is influencing you now? And how familiar are you with Eastern theologies?
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. Great question. I know that in my Pentecostal holiness background, there is there's a, I don't even know how to explain it. There is a power that lives within me that lets me know that I'm in the presence of the divine. I know when we talk about peace washing over us like a river, the Spirit of God washes over me many times, and it's a confirmation of what I already know. It's a confirmation of what I have affirmed, and it gives me that extra jolt to do whatever it is I know I need to do, or say whatever it is I know I need to say. I'm going to say this, and I hope that you understand. I hear the voice of God in me, and it's not new to me in unity. I heard the voice of God in me when I was a little child, and I was told to go up to adults and tell them specific things that I knew nothing about. And I was afraid because I was a kid, and how was I supposed to say this to mother so-and-so? Especially when it was, tell her I said stop lying. That's a hard word for a child to say to somebody's grandmother. And I could not rest until I delivered the message. And that was my experience in Pentecostal living. How it translates now is the way I stand up before you like this morning. I cannot rest until I do what Spirit says do. I say what Spirit says do, the way Spirit says to say it. I would have much rather just, when we practiced the song with Shannon, I didn't do all of that. But in the moment, Spirit said, do it. Guess what? Do it. Because I can't rest till I do. So that's how that part of my life translates into here and now. How familiar am I with Eastern religion? When we were in ministerial school, we studied world religions. And so we had a bit of exposure to them all. I haven't delved deeply into any of them in particular. So I'm open to that experience. I understand how to begin empty instead of full. You show up empty and you'll be filled by Spirit in many ways. I know how to be Zen. I'm probably more Zen than most people want me to be. And I am open to learning more in that regard. Thank you.
I have a question from the back.
Yeah, we do have an online question. What has been the best and worst part of dealing with COVID for you?
As an introvert, the best part has been my ability to stay at home. And the worst part has been my inability to get out. So as a minister, the times of COVID, and I live in Orlando. I never moved to Melbourne. And the community that I am senior minister for in this moment is in Melbourne, Florida, about an hour and 15 minutes away from here, hour and 20 minutes. So what I know is prior to COVID, the distance was not a challenge because if I wanted to get in my car, and I had a couple days a week where I spent in the office there, and I could stop by and see people, and we had service in the building. And so that whole social component that goes with church was met through my ability to go to Melbourne on a regular basis. And being in Orlando and not having the ability to do that, even if I drove to Melbourne, I have several ministers, they are, members who are in a high-risk capacity. And so I couldn't go knock on their door. So that social component, that became very difficult, and very difficult for congregants to not feel that kind of social need fulfilled and to deal with a minister that was so far away. So the quarantining was both yay and oh for me. Anybody else? Yes.
I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to call on our collective ancestors. Why was that important, and why did you choose to invite us to do that?
Did you hear?
It was really effective for her to call on her ancestors in the service.
It was effective?
Yeah. And why
Okay.
did you call on us to do that?
That's a great question. And that speaks to a little bit of what my friend was talking about, Eastern religions. The Yoruba religion delves quite a bit into ancestors and what they bring to the table. What I believe is if first of all, the soul never dies. And whether a person is present with us or not, they are here. And so even though my grandmother has been gone, since I was my early 20s, I'm not telling you how old I am now. It's been quite some time when she left this earthly plane, but her presence is still with me. And the energy that she brought to me then, she brings to me now. The soul of who she is still alive. And the same is true when we speak of Jesus the Christ, ancestor. was here, not here anymore, but very present with us today. And the same is true when we talk about great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., people like that. So when you're invited to call a presence into the room, you bring their energy, bring their presence. And so that's why I do that occasionally. I'm aware, and I love it when I can ask people to invite whatever energy presence they need in the moment, because they all show up, and we have one big party like we did today. I see you, Shannon. Dave?
Yeah, we do have one more question from the chat. Why are you called to come to serve specifically CCU Orlando?
Mm-hmm. Very good. I am called to come to serve CCU Orlando because I believe that what I embody in my spirit and my soul in this moment is relevant and powerful and will move this spiritual community forward from where it is. I'm so aware of that, whether you all get it or not, because we're all delusional. But I realize that. I know that it's true. I know that I was prepared for such a time as this. I was, Reverend Alice, I told her when I left here a couple of years ago, I said, you taught me the unity way. And she did. I didn't know anything about unity, so I came here. And so I've learned through her, through my work at Unity Urban Ministerial School, so many great, powerful women, Reverend Sandra Campbell, Reverend Charlene Manuel, whom you've met. She's spoken here many times. And surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, if you will, and prepared me for this moment. And so I know that I am she, and I know that the time is now.
All right, and anything final? I think that might just be a great way to end it right there.
All right.
I know it's been 2 hours, and you've been talking since 10:30 this morning. So
My pleasure.
just
Love you.
give our thanks to Reverend Valarie one more time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's do one thing for Valarie before she leaves. Valarie, you want to come back here in the center?
Oh, sure.
Just because you are who you are. So we just want to give you our unity blessing. So I'm going to ask everybody to rub your hands together, to face this direction, and repeat after me. Reverend Valarie, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
And we behold the Christ presence in you.
See it all.
And we
in you.
behold the Christ presence in you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Don't forget, fill out your feedback forms either in paper or online, inline preferably, but if not, make sure you do the paper ones and leave them here before you leave. Thank you, everybody.